side and his side. Perfect. Sandeep, so there was a lot of FUD yesterday. The FUD machine was out in like full force yesterday around Matic and the fact that you guys, or Polygon, and the fact that you guys were laying off 100 employees and that you had burnt about $200 million from your budget. Maybe just walk us through, first of all, maybe just walk us through why you guys are cutting staff and what the rationale is.
Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, the Polygon, like the FUD and people trying to, discredit Polygon is nothing new for us, right? Because most of these, alt layer ones and many layer twos, they know that, the way Polygon is getting adoption, their game, the most of them are dead on arrival, and whoever are remaining, they see that, most of the things, most of, big brands, applications, everything is moving over to Polygon. There are only few legit, not only few, like, maybe one or two who can actually claim that they have any organic traction. So that's why, like, whenever they get a chance that to talk bad things about Polygon, they will do that, right? Especially coming from some of these alt L1 people. So that's nothing new to us. But the main important part is, like, to your question, that in the last 12-18 months we acquired three or merged three different protocols into Polygon, like Polygon ZK, Maiden, and Zero, and a lot of redundancies came into Polygon. Plus, in the last 12 to 18 months, we went from 80 people to 550 people. Even now, with this cutting 100 people, what they are not, these fraudsters are not telling, we still have 400 people. We still are 3 times bigger than any other protocol team out there, right? And we are working aggressively on building cutting edge ZK technology, cutting edge, blockchain technology, the clients, Polygon Edge, a lot of tooling technology around it, so that you developers can have good user experience and whatnot. So there are huge amount of developments being done on the front, and plus we have teams who are taking it to the mainstream. So it's a big ship, and this was very important for us to set Polygon for next 5 to 10 years. And that's what we have done. Like, there were redundancies, we needed to remove them, because right now, as you also know, you were just talking about the macro markets, right? Like, there are macro markets to be taken into account. There are, as I said, our restructuring taken into account. And we are not here for, as I said, like since that 2018, right? That we are not here for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Like these discreditors, they will keep saying things, but Polygon is here and it's going to keep grow like this. And it will not stop before its goal is achieved, no matter how much painful it is for these competitors.
So what is the monthly burn of Polygon currently? I mean, you mentioned that you laid off 100 people and you've still got over 400 people. How much money does it cost you to run the ship monthly?
I think after this current numbers, I don't have like back of my envelope numbers, but I think yearly we will still land somewhere between maybe easily 80 to $120 million roughly, because these changes are just coming into effect, but we'll still land into that, like easily 80 to $120 million burn rate, which is perfectly fine for a protocol of our size. Yeah.
So you raised about 450. What some of the fraudsters say is that you raised $450 million a year ago. You've only got $250 million left. That means that you burnt $200 million. If you burnt 200 million, first of all, did you burn $200 million? And if you did, what was it burnt on?
Yeah. So out of that $200 million, what they are again not telling you is that we have a $100 million Polygon Ventures fund. Right, so the only 100 million, the other 100 million got burnt, right? So that's again, like these are all half truths, half lies. These fraudsters and short sellers will tell you so that they can play the markets in that. So this we have clearly mentioned. Like if you see my tweet, I have clearly mentioned in my tweet itself. But yeah.
Yeah, but Sandeep, that's why we keep getting you guys on. The reason why we get you guys on is because we actually want to hear it from your mouth. We don't really care about the FUD. You said, look, Polygon has grown exponentially. to continue this path of stupendous growth, we have crystallized our strategy for the next 5 years to drive mass adoption of Web3 by scaling Ethereum. Our treasury remains healthy with a balance of over $250 million and 1.9 billion Matic. A big part of the strategy includes unifying all our teams under Polygon Labs to drive more growth. As part of this consolidation process, we've made a difficult decision to reduce the team by 20% and cut about 100 positions. Impacted employees, which I think was amazing, will each receive 3 months of severance pay, regardless of their level or their tenure at Polygon Labs, that's unheard of in pretty much most organizations around the world. Yeah. I think you saluted the departing teammates as well.
Yeah. Another important point is, if Polygon had money issues, why would we give 3 months of severance pay, right? Like, and actually many of the, yeah, so I mean, these are all like, again, but yeah, you keep asking the questions, like, I'm like, some of these Futster have been saying, yeah, crazy things.
Great. This is good. I'm glad you clarified it, but just to be crystal clear, so you raised $450 million, yes. You put $100 million into a fund, you burnt about $150 million, and now you've reduced your burn rate to about $80 to $100 million a year. You have $250 million left in cash, and you have 1.9 billion Matic, which is the equivalent of about $2.2 billion.
1.9 billion in Matic, rate. We have said. I think we have said, if you see the tweet, 1.9 billion in Matic. So like roughly at today's price, it will be like 1.4 billion, like 13% of the supply and all that. Yeah. Which is fairly healthy.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty healthy balance sheet and a pretty healthy protocol to me. I also understand that that's protocols, businesses, foundations do need to.
Yeah, and like that's why I'm saying that
yeah.
That's why this is a very bad news for these like competitors who are trying to spring up these things, because they are going to keep getting the pain, and they will get more pain in the coming days, because we are structured better for the next 10 years. That's the thing.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. So I think the big news around Matic is the launch of the ZK EVM mainnet on Ethereum. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect here, when it's going to launch, and why it's such a big event.
Yeah, so I think that most of the if you speak to a lot of blockchain researchers, most of them will tell you that zero knowledge technology is the final frontier for blockchain's ultimate scaling, right? And ZK EVM is, everybody thought that ZK is like probably 4 or 5 years away from here and all that. But because we had, and that's why like we having 3 different teams working in 3 different approaches helped us a lot. And in the last 12 to 18 months, we were able to develop ZK EVM. Like, all kudos to Jordi, who is actually, if you see, he's the first one who came up with this idea of ZK rollups, like zero knowledge based rollups back in ETH DevCon. So we have been able to build it. And as I said, that if you ask most of the kind of thought leaders in the space, they will tell you that this is the holy grail of Ethereum scaling. And once it comes up, it becomes more stabilized, becomes more battle tested. I think if we are looking at who knows, millions of TPS, because you can technically add not only ZK rollups but ZK validiums, which get as good as Ethereum security with data availability off chain. If it is happening in a Polygon POS form, it can be very prominent, and it can have like hundreds of thousands or millions of TPS, which actually makes any of the other layer ones and all that redundant.
Okay, so I mean, if you look at what's going on in the landscape today, you've got, and I'm looking strictly at the data here. I'm not looking at any opinions, but if I look at the growth of layer 2 solutions, you can see that Arbitrum is growing pretty strongly. Polygon obviously is the number one layer 2 scaling solution. You've also got Optimism, which has had a little bit of a run. When you look at Arbitrum and when you look at Optimism, do you see these as competitors?
I mean, see, first of all, if you see, like, in all fairness, yes, all of the layer 2s are also competitors in between. But if you see, I also tweeted to congratulate Arbitrum, because Arbitrum had like very good number of transactions yesterday, which like Polygon has 4x, like I think 4 times the number of transactions of Ethereum main chain. Arbitrum achieved almost equivalent to Ethereum transaction yesterday. and their DeFi ecosystem is growing very well. Like, last year we also had like $20 billion in our, in the bull market and all that. So because of they have a lot of good things, especially with the, kind of airdrop coming in and all that. So there is a lot of organic activity also happening over there. And for a Ethereum ecosystem, we don't consider all of these as competitors. Like, we are all scaling Web3, and we are very strong proponents of that. On the layer 2 level, there are going to be multiple players. It's like more like cloud, decentralized cloud, like where there will be AWS, there will be GCP, there will be Microsoft. All of these protocols are going to be there, and eventually the markets will be divided between these three. So multiple layer 2s will exist. On layer 1, although I am very clear, and I have multiple times talked about my thesis also, that I don't think there's going to be multi-layer 2 environment. There'll be a layer 1 environment. There'll be one single layer 1, which is Ethereum in my mind, on top of which all of these layer 2, where the user activity will happen.
Wow, that's a big statement. So you believe that Solana, Aptos, Avalanche, and Cardano, you believe that in time those will all eventually become very small, or I mean,
even now,
not really relevant relative to.
Yeah. If you see even now, like, everybody is there for last 2 years, and I don't see any significant traction on any of these chains. And like, otherwise we are like, multiple layer 2 solutions you would have seen looking at some of these layer 1s. So I absolutely don't feel that anybody has any chance to compete with Ethereum anywhere.
What about Solana? I mean, if I look at Solana here, Solana's doing 18 million transactions per day, more or less, relative to Polygon doing 3.1, Ethereum doing 1.1 million. If I look at the daily active addresses, Solana is just under Ethereum.
Yeah. On which applications, if I may ask you?
Like, I mean, I don't have.
There is no DeFi, there is no significant gaming. There is only NFT, PFP transactions over there, which you can see, like, there are 60,000 transactions. All of these transactions, like, it's very hard to understand which applications are generating these transactions. So, I mean, even I don't know, I don't pay that much attention to Solana. Actually. Yeah. I'm more focused on the layer 2.
So now I have a very important.
Yeah.
So I have a very important question for you when it comes to layer 2s. So if I gave you $10,000 to invest in a layer 2, but you're not allowed to invest that $10,000 into Polygon Matic. You're not allowed to invest it into Polygon Matic, but you have to invest the $10,000 today, and you're investing it to get maximum return, and you can only invest it into one protocol. In fact, no, let's make it more exciting. You can invest it into any protocol you wish, and you can cut up the $10,000 any which way you like. Yeah. Where do you put the money?
I think it will be surely Starkware and Arbitrum, both of them. Like, I'll divide 50-50%, and both are very good teams, respected teams, good engineers, and they are doing legit work, and we appreciate them for that. Yeah.
Okay, so 50-50 into Starkware and 50-50 into
maybe Optimism.
Listen, Sandeep, it's been amazing having you here.
Yeah. Optimism also, I forgot. Like, yeah, Optimism also definitely, like, maybe 1/3 between all three of them.
But wait, let me ask you a question. So, I mean, when you look at Arbitrum, when you look at Stark.
Sorry.
But Optimism is not a ZK technology. Optimism is an optimistic roll-up technology, right?
Yeah. Yes. Both Optimism and Arbitrum are optimistic roll-up technology.
Do you believe that optimistic rollups can be as effective as ZK rollups?
No. That's research makes it very clear that it is not going to be the case. Optimistic rollups are surely a middle-term solution. Right now they are doing well, but the moment ZK technology, ZK rollups become more battle tested, and the activity starts moving over there, because you have 7-day delay period. It's very hard that, it's somebody is going to pay the cost of this money being stuck for 7 days, right? Whether they say that no, users will not pay, but the player who's actually doing, somebody is going to pay for that money. So it's fundamentally economically inefficient. So zero knowledge technology, because you don't have to rely on the data. So I think ZK is going to be more prominent. That's why, like, I think I would like to change my, maybe if I had to change my bet that way, I did not see, because I think Arbitrum is going to be launched. Starkware is yet to be launched. So that's why, like, I would put half and half. But if you ask me a long-term bet, I would like to go only on ZK, and maybe Aztec and Starkware would be the main ones in that.
Amazing. Listen, Sandeep, I'm glad we had you on. You know, we don't like FUD. We don't like nonsense. We like to get straight to the source and to hear it from your mouth. So thanks, my friend. Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Leave a comment, leave a question, so that I know that you're loving it. Most importantly, subscribe to this channel.